Hello again. My name is Peter Kjærulf, and I've made two of these documentaries. Only one of them is available at the moment, and this is the third. And this time I'll try to explain why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because it really seems that I will be able to play the piano really good. I've not been able to play for about 50 years, as I stated earlier also, and there's a problem that I'm not able to practice. A very good friend of mine has told me that I have to practice, and that Horowitz and Richter practiced, and even Liszt practiced. My problem is that if I practice, then it disappears immediately after that. What is happening is that I am experiencing something that I can only describe as a more intense contact with communication energy. I can give a brief example. If you have to make a very important recital on Sunday, and an important aunt of yours has a birthday on Saturday and you are invited to that party, if your conscience tells you that you should go to that party, then you should do that instead of saving yourself for your recital. If you do that, that means you communicate with life, then you play better the next day. So I've always felt that art is nothing unless life flows through it. And what I'm trying to demonstrate, and I'm not nearly there, but there's something to show, is that there is built into the music some kind of communication energy. And if you're able to contact that, then the music more or less plays itself. So instead of me practicing, which I cannot do, I experience that it gradually becomes easier for me to play. And also I discover different details and nuances within the music. I can give you a very few examples. For instance, the beginning of the F major ballad by Chopin. Earlier I played it like this. And now I have discovered the first tones are simply some kind of preluding. I'm sitting at the piano, and what should I do? And the last paragraph of what I played here contains some kind of jewel or gem, like a hug or welcoming a friend after a long absence. I know somebody don't like these images, but this is the only way I can explain it. I try to play it in a different way. Then you see, it's a completely different story. And I also found out that, for instance, in the beginning of the Liszt sonata in B minor, which is actually very difficult to play this beginning, because Liszt has made these notes, and they can be played in very different ways and in what kind of tempo. And then suddenly it struck me that if you play the first note and then wait until you can not possibly wait any longer, and then you take the second note, then you have the correct tempo, which means that you're describing something like the beginning of time before anything happened, which means that when the octaves come later, there's an eruption of energy and life starting. I'll try to play that, but still I say I'm not able to play what I want to play. What I would like to demonstrate this time is glimpses of what might be, and it's actually developing. And if you compare with earlier documentary, you might see my point. I'll try to play just the beginning of this sonata. So forth. I also found out that listening to what is in the music of energy also sometimes gives me some kind of power, which I actually didn't expect me to have, like this. I'm not finishing any composition yet because I can't play it. But if you compare what I just played to what I did the last time, you can see that it's becoming easier for me to play it, actually. And I'll try to play just a few pieces of something, and before that I'll demonstrate a little bit more. I've all my life loved this prelude by Bach, and this thing of discovering gems and jewels inside it has suddenly increased also. So the last time I played it, I could hear that this is as if it's also like the beginning of all kinds of music, the creation of classical music as such. It contains all elements in this very, very simple structure, so that if you dare play it like the music indicates, this is what I hear, then the different chords are talking to each other very, very differently from if you just play it beautifully, if what you can. But there's so much more in it. I'll try just some of it. Another thing, I'm coming closer to be able to play the beginning of Ravel's Gaspard de la Nuit, and the difficult thing is the repetition, fast repetition of a chord with 3 notes in it. And after that is said, when you can do that, you have to be able to play like this is rain on a window, and then there's a mermaid singing. And that's not very often I hear that. I can now really only think of Arturo Benedetto Michelangeli's recording of that. And I can't play it, but it's coming closer. It's very tempting just to play it, oh, this is beautiful, but it's not, if I may say so. This is rain on a window and there is a mermaid singing. And if you don't get that, you don't get the poem from Bertrand. I think there was another thing. Yes, I've many years ago tried to play bits and pieces from Scriabin's 5th piano sonata. And what I just was able to hear, I don't know if I can demonstrate it. It is that in the fast section there's a lot of delicatezza. The sounds of the chords are not just to be played in a violent tempo or as percussion or something, but there's actually some incredible sound in that. I'll take that again. After that, well, I think I've tried to make a point, and then I will play a bit of the Chopin F major ballad, which is improving. There's a very difficult, it's very difficult actually, and especially when you come to the presto con fuoco part. But as you may be able to hear, I have much more power in this now than I had the last time. I still can't play the notes, but that doesn't matter because it will come by itself gradually. So I just try and bear with me for the wrong notes. Try to hear the intention of, or something which is like growing up of the water. What I'm actually saying here is, it's much more important to be in contact with life than it is to practice. If you are in contact with life, you can awaken hidden abilities in yourself. You cannot do that by excluding life and practicing 8 hours a day. That's not possible. Well, you can play the music, but you will have nothing to say. So the extreme is that it seems that my example might lead to that it's actually possible to practice 24/7 without sitting at the piano, because I'm returning to the piano now and then simply to see the status of this. So let me try this. just to finish this off, I will play the piece I've played quite a few times, and which I really love, the Greek Wedding on Trollhaugen. And also, if you compare this version to the earlier versions, it's a completely different piece. There's really a lot of joy and the love duet in the slow central section, and the party gradually getting back in memory in the end of the piece. But yes, I just try and play this. Thank you for listening. As an encore, I cannot help play a bit of the Liszt sonata in the middle section, which is possible to play. This I can't play at all, but just for fun, so you can see in the direction I'm going. I go in about here. Just a little bit. Just wait. Just playing for myself, but I know that some of my friends would like to hear some note sound, which I just played, but we can reverse or cut the recordings. And I played some of the middle section of the Liszt Sonata, central section, and I might play a bit of the A-flat ballad by Chopin. And I have wondered for many years what is going on in these first bars, but now I can hear some kind of aristocracy, some pride in the word's best sense, and it's not just a sentimental story or something. There is real human valor, power inside. Again. it should be there, maybe. I'm not sure I can find anything else to play at the moment, but just you can see what I'm occupying myself with these days.